Not only did the Washington Nationals dominate the Dodgers for the second night in a row, yesterday is one of those games that you're going to look back and think to yourself, that is when James Wood became a star.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, I'm your host, Ryan Clary. You can catch me over on Twitter at RyanClary11 and as well as our show page at LO_Nationals. For all your latest Nationals news and notes, make sure to check us out over on Twitter. And of course, look up Locked On Nationals wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's on Apple, Spotify, and of course, the video version that you can catch out over on YouTube. Just look up Locked On Nationals and hit that subscriber button. Later on in today's show, we'll be going and talking about the Washington Nationals potentially going for the sweep this afternoon with Jake Irvin on the bump going up against the LA Dodgers. Can the Nationals get the sweep? We'll discuss that a little bit later on in today's show. In the second segment, let's just talk about this. How fun has this Washington Nationals team been over the last week or so? They have got a lot of young talent. They've got some really good offensive performances so far, and it's been a really fun watch. We'll discuss that in the second segment of today's program, but we start off discussing why James Wood, the homegrown star, has become a superstar. We'll tell you about that, but today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money, and take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. I think in town here in DC, when you are at a bar, you are, let's say it's at your local sports bar watching the Washington Nationals game, and there's someone to your right that is a Nationals fan. You go up to them, probably the first thing that you're going to say is, how about James Wood, the homegrown star who has not really been all too relevant here these past few seasons, but if you look into it at a deeper level, James Wood is becoming a superstar right now. In last night's ball game, James Wood hitting 2 home runs was the focal point for you. Let's get into that. The bottom of the first inning, with winds blowing in from center field in that left center gap over on Half Street. We all know that wind tunnel there, and really how it can make it really hard for hitters to hit it out on windy, cold nights. The bottom of the first inning, going up against a left-handed pitcher, James Wood launched a 2-run home run to center field, 391 feet, 111 miles per hour off the bat, going up against the wind. This is a special talent right here. This is one of those guys where Mike Rizzo, when he turns in his report card at the end of the season, and James Wood, let's say he hits 30 home runs this year, that's going to be one of those things where Mike Rizzo is going to be like, here's our superstar. This is the guy we're going to build around. And this is the people in the core group of where you're going to have to put around these veteran talent and sign in free agency. James Wood is a star. And as soon as I saw that ball go out yesterday, at first I was like, oh my God, that ball was crushed. And then we saw the numbers on it. 391 feet, 111 off the bat, and a 28-degree launch angle. And then it comes up in the fourth inning. You're like, okay, he's having himself a night here, obviously. 413 feet, dead center field, 107 miles per hour off the bat, 30-degree launch angle. This is a special talent that is unique to today's game. There is really 2 guys who is kind of like a specimen the way that he is. It's Aaron Judge, who's 6'7" and built like a linebacker in football. And then there's Shohei Ohtani with yesterday's game. This does not come around. This is not your typical baseball player. And the power that he displays each and every game, whether it's 95 degrees out or 45 degrees out, like it was this past night. I can't get over the fact that against the Dodgers on a national stage, going up against Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts and all the other stars in that lineup. James Wood showed out, and James Wood was the best player on the diamond in yesterday's game. Think about that for a second. When you have Shohei Ohtani on the other side of that infield grass, your star, number 22, James Wood, was the best player, and by the way, has now hit 3 home runs this series against the Dodgers. He is an unbelievable talent. And this is something that, again, I cannot overstate this enough. It is a unique thing to have someone with power the way that James Wood does. Because if you look at it in the way that this team is built, so far this season, power has been one of their strong suits that we'll be getting into a little bit later on. I've got some numbers for you guys to think about here. But when you have guys like Nathaniel Lowe, who went 0 for in the lineup yesterday, you have Keibert Ruiz, he added 2 hits. Alex Cole, he had a hit at the top of the lineup. But your main production, 5 RBIs, came from James Wood. And again, this Nationals offense, it was pretty good yesterday, but still, you had a lot of guys that had no hits. Paul DeJong, 0 for 4 with 3 Ks. Luis Garcia Jr., 0 for 4. Amed Rosario, 1 for 4. And you're missing C.J. Abrams still. This team is a lot of fun to watch. And right now, James Wood, as we all kind of thought, is establishing himself as that superstar that we so desperately need here in DC for the Washington Nationals. But James Wood, I could talk about him all day, but I need to talk about this also. Brad Lord. Brad Lord, getting the call to start, was kind of an opener for the Nats. He went into the 4th inning, overall 3 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts, 2 hits, no earned runs, and 2 walks, and struck out someone twice named Shohei Ohtani. What a starting debut for Brad Lord. What an opportunity for him to go up against one of the best offensives in baseball. A team that started out, 8-0 in the year? And go in, 3 innings pitched. You strike out Shohei Ohtani not once, but twice in that game and held him hitless. What an unbelievable outing for Brad Lord. And when you kind of look at yesterday's game overall, Brad Lord, he was unfortunately outshined by James Wood and what he did, but still, Brad Lord went out there and absolutely shoved against a very good offense. I'm trying to pull up some numbers here from yesterday's game because I thought it was just kind of goes to show you what Brad Lord could bring to the table here. What Brad Lord did in yesterday's game, this guy was throwing mid-90s yesterday. We saw him up to 98 miles per hour in spring training, but that was not the case in yesterday's game. But still, in his limited action, he had 5 swings and misses. And Jackson Rutledge, Orlando Rebalta also, they got in the category as well, and they looked pretty damn good, both giving up home runs, but outside than that, looking pretty damn good for the Nats team. But what Brad Lord provided in the game yesterday, on pretty short notice, knowing that you're going up against a very good Dodgers lineup, what a performance by him. And looking into it a little bit deeper, Colin Poche, we have dunked on him. He has blown a lot of games this year for the Nationals so far, I believe 2. But he got out of a jam in that 4th inning and struck out the side against a good Dodgers lineup. And then again, as we mentioned, Orlando Rebalta, a young, exciting arm who was drafted by the Nationals in 2019. He came in, looked pretty good for 3 innings. Jackson Rutledge, someone who got called up here recently in the wake of the Soroka IL news. He came up, and he looked also pretty good out of the bullpen. This Nationals team, while they may not be the most talented team out there, you may not be better than the Dodgers in the long run, which is understandable. But one thing is for sure, this team is young, and they are certainly exciting up to this point. So let's get into that, because I do want to talk about just kind of how fun this Nats team has gotten here as of recent, and just the things that you get to look forward to as a consumer of Nationals baseball. Let's get into that, but before we jump into it, I got to tell you guys about some of our very good friends over at Wonderful Pistachios. And of course, looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious, cracking a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts, and each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller for longer. And personally, I love the no shells variety. It's the perfect grab and go snack for busy days when I'm snacking at my desk, on a road trip, or just need a quick protein boost. They're always my go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are a classic favorite. The other day I was at my desk. I did not know what I wanted to eat. I went over to the vending machines. I saw Wonderful Pistachios. I knew I was low on protein. I knew I needed some fiber to get me through the day. Wonderful Pistachios is exactly that for you. It made me feel full, and it made me feel good and energized for the rest of the workday. And pistachios are the snack that works as hard as you do. So get snacking and get cracking with a snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And everybody, let's gather in here and let's talk about it. This Nats team, they are a fun watch yet again. For the third straight year, yes, it is early on in the season, but man, have they been fun. The ups and downs of a baseball season, there is nothing like it. There just is. If you look at where this team is, not many people expect them to win this year, and for good reason. But have you not had fun just simply watching this team each and every single day? Some notes that I want to get into. This is a guy that I just cannot stop talking about. Alex Call. He has been on fire as of recent. A 4-game hit streak. 3 of his last 6 games, he's had 2 hits in the ball game. He is becoming like your everyday utility guy that is so invaluable to a baseball team that you can just kind of have out of your pocket. Alex Call is so exciting to watch. He runs the bases. He plays solid defense. And more importantly, he puts the ball in play and is looking to be the part of an everyday player as of right now. I'm not 100% sure that he's going to be an everyday player. It's just, we've seen a lot over the years. He has been really hot and then he gets really cold. So you're going to have to kind of balance that here. But with what you are seeing to start 2025, that is your utility player. Like, we talked a lot about Lane Thomas. Lane Thomas was an awesome Washington National here that you traded at the deadline this past season. Alex Call is not that far behind Lane Thomas, in my opinion. Lane has the better arm. He was probably the better defender. But they're pretty similar talent outside of the fact that Lane Thomas provided more power. That's really it. But Alex Call, if you were to say that he's going to be your 4th outfielder for the next 4 or 5 years, sign me up for that. What an exciting player to watch, and someone who was not really promised anything in spring training. He's got the opportunity to be your 4th outfielder, and with Jacob Young and the way that he's been struggling here recently, he has been getting the playing time, and also Dylan Cruz, who has also been struggling. But not even to mention just Alex Call. Another, probably the biggest year, the most pressure surrounding him, is Keibert Ruiz, your catcher who has gotten an extension, who is going to be here in the long run, and he was coming off a terrible year in which he probably thought he embarrassed himself a little bit. It was that bad. Yesterday's ball game, 2 hits and 2 RBIs. His season numbers, he's batting .343 with a .981 OPS on the year. An incredible turnaround for Keibert Ruiz to start this year. You are seeing the things that you want to see. And I don't think many people can kind of get that twisted because, again, this is just what it has been like so far for the Nationals. And one big thing that we talked about all offseason long was where are the Nationals going to be in power? Where will they be getting some power and some generated numbers in order to kind of catch up with today's game? Well, you trade for Nathaniel Lowe. You signed Josh Bell. Nathaniel Lowe has been bringing the power. Josh Bell, not really. But even then, if you look at the numbers here, with James Wood hitting the way that he's hitting, C.J. Abrams, K-Bear Ruiz, the Nats are 8th in Major League Baseball for their slugging percentage, in 5th in the National League, a category that they have not even finished remotely close to halfway over the past few seasons here. They have solved that issue as of right now. And it's early on in the season. Things could come crashing down. But the early numbers are really encouraging for what you want. A good power hitting ball club. Something that we have not had since 2019. Someone that you can rely on each and every day, led by James Wood. Now 4 home runs on the season. And by the way, his 4 home runs on this year, I believe he's on pace for about 56 home runs this season, if the math is mathing correctly there. So just keep an eye on that, by the way. I think his 30 home run mark, that could be cute by the time we get into August with the way that he's been hitting the baseball. But also with K-Bear Ruiz, the numbers and the power numbers that he has put up. C.J. Abrams hitting bolt after bolt. This team has been an exciting watch. And I just can't get over that because this is the fun times of baseball. This is the times where, let's say in 2 years from now, the Nationals are competing for a pennant. They're winning 95 ball games. You get to tell your friends, maybe some friends who dropped the Nationals and didn't want to watch this rebuild. You get to say, well, I remember when James Wood broke out. Do you remember that two home run game against the Dodgers? 45-degree weather, hitting bombs dead center field and carry the Nationals into a potential sweep of the best team in baseball, the defending World Series champion. You get to say that you saw that game. You get to see the time, or say that you saw the time where K-Bear Ruiz has finally figured it out at the plate. Maybe you get to think to yourself when Alex Call, similar to Howie Kendrick, is coming off the bench and hitting game-winning home runs in postseason baseball. I saw when Alex Call, when he struggled at first and has come this way in his 3rd season with the Nationals and has been a difference maker as he's on a 4-game hit streak, leading his way to defeat the LA Dodgers. This team is a fun watch. And also, by the way, might we add to get in some power numbers. The Nationals are 7th in Major League Baseball with 15 home runs this season. And they are 4th in the National League. 12th in Major League Baseball with doubles and 7th in the National League. Right up tick above average. This team has been fun. I cannot get over it. You see Mackenzie Gore every 5 days. You see Jake Irvin every 5 days, who has a start today that we'll be previewing here in just a few moments. You've got some other young pieces like Mitchell Parker coming in seemingly out of nowhere, starting every 5 days and looking really good so far. You've got young pieces in the bullpen, Jose Ferrer, coming in pumping 98, 99 miles per hour. You've got your all-star closer with Kyle Finnegan coming in and closing the game out for 3 straight days. Unbelievable start to this year. And just a fun team to watch. And by the way, Davey Martinez getting in an umpire's face yesterday. When Davey gets fired up, that's the best Davey Martinez out there. It's just a lot of fun to see him get riled up because he runs pretty cool, but when he gets hot, he gets hot. And he was trying to get tossed out in yesterday's game. That did not happen. So, what a fun team to watch right now. And I am enjoying every single second of this season so far. And thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day. Now let's tell you about today's game. The Nationals, they are going for the sweep against the LA Dodgers. They have now won 4 straight games dating back to this weekend against the Diamondbacks. Can they get the sweep done with our guy, Jake Irvin? We'll discuss that after we tell you about our friends over at Monarch Money. And you ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go between dining out and online shopping and entertainment? It's easy to lose track, and that's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center, and you can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. And when I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. And now I budget smarter and save more. For instance, I was looking at it and I saw, oh my gosh, I am door dashing this and that. I need to cut back on that. And Monarch Money helped me check my finances and track my spending and even plan some long-term goals to really prevent that, because you can still do that. But Monarch Money gives you some ideas to take some of that back. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money and use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. So the Nationals, they now sit at the year 5-6. They're on a nice little 4-game win streak. Can they make it 5 today with a 4:05 first pitch with Jake Irvin on the bump going up against another right-handed pitcher, Landon Knack. Landon Knack, for those who are not aware, was a second-round pick by the Dodgers back in 2020. He has had some good little stints up in the bigs, most notably this past season where he started 12 games for the Dodgers, came out of the bullpen relief for 3 of those, had a really good year, although he has given up the long ball at an extremely high rate. And for the way that the Nationals have been slugging, especially in cold weather here, you got to feel good about this. A right-handed pitcher who gives up the long ball, you know who I'm going to say. James Wood. I am calling it right now. James Wood is going to hit a home run, but he's not going to be the only one. You're also going to get a home run from Josh Bell in the right center field, second deck home run. Actually, no, not second deck. I'm going to say he gets it a no-doubter into the bullpen. James Wood and Josh Bell, those are going to be my home run picks for today against the Nationals for a pitcher who has given up the long ball throughout his career. But unfortunately for the Dodgers, they have to go up against a very good Jake Irvin, who is coming off a solid start here. Or really, you've seen better overall, but still, Jake Irvin, no doubts about it. This is going to be a guy for the Nationals this year. And if you kind of look at his numbers overall, he has gone against some Dodgers players, like, for instance, Mookie Betts, who has 9 at-bats against him. And, of course, Mookie Betts has good numbers going up against him. So we'll see what happens overall there. You have Teoscar Hernandez, who has had some luck also, has hit a home run, I believe, this past season going up against Jake Irvin. Max Muncy has gotten the best of him. Shohei Ohtani, and, yeah, Will Smith as well. So the Nationals, the numbers may not be in favor of Jake Irvin, but if you look at the spreads and if you look at where a lot of these splits go for plenty of these Dodgers hitters, these are some of the best players in the game today. You're gonna see some bad things, unfortunately, but the Nationals don't really have much action against Landon Knack. But I can tell you this: he is going to give up a home run today, and it's going to be against James Wood. And I'm going to also call Josh Bell out as well. I think Josh Bell and James Wood, those are the 2 guys that will hit a home run today. So if you're with our friends over at FanDuel, and again, check it out at FanDuel.com, do an anytime home run prep, and you'll see that James Wood and Josh Bell on a chilly day here, yet again, a sunny, beautiful day, 50 degrees, you'll see the long ball fly yet again. So Jake Irvin, good luck. And the Nationals, they're going for the sweep today. I'll catch you on the flip side. Have a good one. Go Nats.